$1,132 per month for Social Security beneficiaries, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, and low income. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now this is a very important number that we need to understand as it directly relates to low income and all those fixed income beneficiaries that I just mentioned a few seconds ago. So let's get into it and discuss all the details and why this number is so incredibly important and the pieces of legislation that are currently floating around Congress right now to raise benefits up to this number or even beyond. So let's get into it and discuss everything you need to know. However, really quickly before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as I am your one and only daily advocate, and I am very much dedicated to you and this community to continue doing all the research, breaking it all down into these short videos, which I deliver a couple times throughout the day so you can stay updated with what is actually going on right now, especially during this busy time and as we continue to get all these new announcements out of the administration, the president, lawmakers, Congress, and all these new packages, proposals, amendments, reform to these very important programs, as well as money, benefits, checks, raises to benefits, and everything else going on right now as it is a busy time. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and I'll continue to be here for you every single day right by your side, helping you out in any way that I possibly can navigate this very busy and confusing time. All right, thanks again. Let's jump into it and discuss what is going on and where is this $1,132 actually coming from and how does it actually translate into fixed income beneficiaries and how much money you're going to see in your bank account, in your wallet, and how it's going to impact you, your lifestyle, and everything else going forward right now. All right, so let me break down the details of this, and I think you're going to quickly understand why this number is so important, and you're probably going to relate to this because you've probably seen it many times before. Now, this $1,132 is on a monthly basis when it comes down to the federal poverty line. Now, stick with me on this because I'm going to break all this out for you and let you know what this actually means right now. So, as of right now, in 2022, the federal poverty line is $13,590. That's on an annualized basis, by the way. As we divide that out on a monthly basis, it comes out to $1,132 per month. Now, that is the federal poverty line. Essentially, according to this guideline, any income under $1,132 right now would technically put somebody living in poverty, right? Obviously, I think we all understand that. And I think many of us here in the community recognize this because, unfortunately, that is the case with the vast majority of benefits out there right now, is that people receiving fixed income benefits are living below the federal poverty line, which again, as I mentioned before in previous videos, the president has said before that no older adults or people with disabilities should ever need to live in poverty in America. Well, as I mentioned before as well, unfortunately, all of these programs that are out there right now with these fixed income benefits that I mentioned at the beginning of the video pretty much focus on older adults and people with disabilities. As a result of that, if the benefit is less than $1,132 per month, then guess what? By definition, it is below the federal poverty line, right? So anyway, now let's talk about how this translates into fixed income benefits and why this is such an important number. All right, so there's actually a number of different reasons why this is an important number, and which, by the way, this number does adjust a little bit higher each and every year. For example, last year in 2021, the federal poverty line on a monthly basis was $1,079 every single month. This year, again, $1,132. So that is up, what is that, $53 a month, according to my mental math right now. So it does jump up a little bit, which, by the way, on an annualized basis, it's $710 from last year into this year, and it'll likely be raising again somewhere around that same parameter going into 2023. But here's what it comes down to. When it comes out to fixed income beneficiaries and, of course, low-income beneficiaries, it all comes out to your eligibility for many of these other programs that are out there right now. For example, SNAP benefits, otherwise known as food stamps, that some people call them, utility assistance, housing assistance, free internet through the ACP, Affordability Connectivity Program, water assistance, as well as other things where you can possibly even get a free cell phone and free cell phone service, as well as a whole host of other programs that are out there right now. It's all pegged off of the federal poverty line. Where's your income in relation to the federal poverty line? Now, generally, they put some percentages on this. They can say something like, you're eligible for this program if your household income is 120% of the federal poverty line, 125% of the federal poverty line, 150%, maybe 175%, maybe 200% of the federal poverty line, and then they determine your eligibility from there. And typically they use a household income for this to determine eligibility. Across all these different programs that are focused on the low income, this is how they determine eligibility. So again, very, very important stuff, right? So when it comes down to it, now let's quickly talk about some of the pieces of legislation that are out there right now to raise benefits up to either 100% of the federal poverty line and or 125% of the federal poverty line. Again, another very key metric that we need to watch, because the federal poverty line, other than just a good talking point, it's honestly, it's a very important number. Without the federal poverty guideline and this number, we would have no idea where we're all sitting right now, right? At least it gives us a baseline to work from to say, okay, if you're above this line, you're, a little bit above the poverty line. If you're below it, you're below the poverty line, and by all means, you'll be getting eligibility and you'll be getting access to all these other benefits that are out there available to you right now. Kind of makes sense? All right, so now let's talk about the piece of legislation. Number one, the SSI Restoration Act. Again, many of you here in the community know about this one, but this is one of the key hallmarks out of this program, which is to raise benefits up to the federal poverty line, which would raise benefits from the current level right now in 2022 of $841, the maximum, up to $1,132 every single month. Right? That'd be a huge raise. Almost $300 more per month is what that would actually translate out to. That's a big raise, right? What would an extra $300 per month do for you if you're an SSI beneficiary? I think we all know the answer to that. A little bit more freedom, maybe food on a monthly basis, maybe the ability to pay for your utilities on time, put some gas in your car. I mean, seriously, the list goes on and on. But $300 these days does not go very far anymore, right? But at the end of the day, I'd rather have an extra $300 a month versus not having an extra $300 a month, right? I think all of us can probably agree with that. So that's number one, the SSI Restoration Act. Also, the Social Security 2100, which, by the way, the SSI Restoration Act is just specifically focused on SSI, Supplemental Security Income. However, the Social Security 2100 is for all those Social Security beneficiaries that receive Social Security benefits. Well, there's a provision within this to raise the minimum guaranteed benefit up to 125% of the federal poverty line. Well, guess what that would be? 125% of the federal poverty line, which is, again, $1,132, multiplied by 1.25 comes up to $1,415 every single month. Kind of get what I'm saying here? This is, again, another very, very important metric that we need to watch. So when it all comes down to it, yes, the $1,132 is very important and is kind of that baseline that we need to watch, because ultimately this is where many of these programs, this is where all of this talk and a lot of these pieces of legislation in Congress right now want to raise benefits up to as a result of that federal poverty line. And of course, as that number continues to adjust higher each and every year, it just means that when Congress finally does something about this and helps out those people living on a fixed income, it just means that, hey, that just means even more money in your pocket as they continue to raise that up every year. So again, the $1,132 per month is a very, very important number. Now, will Congress actually do this? That's a good question. I honestly don't even want to go out on a limb right now. I have no clue if Congress will actually do this. I would imagine that at some point they will do this, but is it going to be in the next month? I mean, realistically, probably not. Is it going to be in the next couple months here? It could be. They do want to get a few things done before the end of the year. They do want to get a few things done before the midterm elections. I do know that for sure. But will it actually be this? I'm not really sure. Again, I wish I had a better answer for you, but the fact of the matter is Congress knows this very well, and you would think that after a while it should be probably digging on their conscience a little bit, knowing that so many people are living below the federal poverty line. And again, I want to say it one more time. The president did say that no older adults or people with disabilities should ever need to live in poverty in America. Hey, President Biden, newsflash for you. Guess what? Anybody with an income under that, including all SSI beneficiaries and a huge percentage of Social Security beneficiaries, including retirement and SSDI, survivors, VA, RRB, are living below the federal poverty line because benefits are below that. So just saying, right? I got to throw that out there for you. So anyway, hopefully they'll do the right thing and ultimately raise these benefits up. But again, then it comes down to the big discussion across Congress saying, is this what we're going to do? And what are all the rules? And how are we going to change it? And how fast are we going to get this done? And when's it going to be implemented? Who's going to be eligible? And all the other questions that Congress needs to figure out. So it'd just be a lot easier if they just made up their mind and just did something already, right? Action is a lot more important than figuring out all the fine details. They can do that as they go, right? Just like when you try to figure out anything in life, right? Do you just go at it and kind of figure it out as you go, or do you have to figure out all the details before you start? I'm not sure about you, but for me, anytime that I've ever tried to start something, if I try to get all the details, I never start, because guess what? Every time you look at something else, there's always more details popping up. You just got to get started, get going, and you'll learn along the way. Same thing goes for Congress. They just need to do it, and ultimately they can adjust as they go. So anyway, my little public service announcement for Congress, hopefully they're listening, right? Anyway, as I get more details on anything, of course, I'll be right here for you, breaking it all down, letting you know what's going on and how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, your wallet, and everything else right now, as I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can. Please make sure to subscribe down below, share the video with your friends, family, social media, go back and check out some of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. There's a lot of great content here for you to enjoy. Thanks again. I'm here for you. Please make sure to leave your comments and questions down below. Until next time, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later.